Let's hit 1 million now.
Let's hit it. Let's hit 1 million this time. All right. Get all the way back over here. What's up, you guys? Welcome back, Mr. What's up, you guys? Welcome back, Mr. Eddie Barber. This guy right here actually helped me get to 500,000 views on one of my best performing tutorials. So today, we're gonna do a walkthrough. So let's go. Starting with the number 4 on top. On the alphas, they got plenty of power. You ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do it. Bam. Mowing it down. And we're gonna do the exact same haircut that we did for that tutorial. And by the way, I've been using this clipper for 2 days and haven't plugged it in. And finally, I think it's starting to slow down a little bit, but it's still taking the top of his hair down the way I want. But I'm gonna use the ergos for this fade. I just wanna remove the bulk with my alphas. This is the more powerful of the two. And that's kind of what the idea of the system is to have something that's strong, that can remove bulk easy, and then have something that blends, that's a little forgiving, that you can get through the hair and you can blend real easy with. Now the other thing of note too is the clipper has a special blade on it. I'm calling it the Faper. It's between a fade and a taper blade, but it's an amazing little blade, and I can't wait till they release it for everybody else to give it a try. So now that I've got the 4, my man Chad's in the house, plug it in on this side of the station.
Sir. I just want to walk around you.
Oh yeah, you're good. So, yeah. So once I've got the 4, I'm gonna actually jump over, grab a number 2. I'm gonna grab a 2 and get rid of some of this bulk on the sides because I can't see what I'm doing, so I don't wanna try to do anything crazy yet until I can actually see what I'm doing. So I wanna run these out of gas and see if they do run out of gas. Like I said, they've been going for 2 days. Definitely not cutting as fast as they were. But what do you expect? I mean, they got more than 20 cuts out of the last 2 days, probably at least 20 cuts. So I'm not complaining about it at all. And it seems like it's doing what I want it to do. Just traveling around the parietal ridge, lifting up slightly. Yeah, turn that on, that's good, dude. Fire it up. Ooh, and we got a fade light. You know what? We're gonna switch locations of this camera. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you.
Is the light just right?
It's perfect, dude.
Okay.
It's perfect. I just gotta readjust this camera real quick. To 1.5, and I'm just gonna get rid of all this hair at the very bottom. If you guys notice what I'm doing, I'm just sort of prepping this because the rest of this is gonna get skinned out anyways. So I'm just trying to get rid of some of this bulk so I can actually see what I'm doing. And that's that. So next step, got this fabulous new blade that I also have not plugged in for 2 days. And it's on the absolute hitter, and this blade is just dynamite. I'm gonna go up about a finger's width above his ear, and in the back, I'm gonna drop down right about to his occipital bone. And you guys can see how this thing could remove bulk pretty quick. You guys know that I like to use a detachable clipper for this. Like that's the best way to do this because it will remove that hair and you will not be putting the wear and tear on your trimmers. But if all you have is trimmers, it's fine. It'll come to the same end. So we'll just go ahead and we'll get rid of all of it. So I like to tip it upside down because all trimmers can cut a little faster this way. So if we're going through large amounts of hair like that, I mean, I'm telling you guys right now, it's not just because I'm sponsored by Gamma or nothing like that. These trimmers with this blade is a great addition. It's crazy what an upgrade this is gonna be. Once this blade hopefully becomes mainstream. I don't know what they're doing. Like I said, they just send me stuff, test it, ask me questions later. So that's kind of what this is right now, but we'll see where it goes. So again, a finger's width above the ear, and we're knocking out the rest of that bulk. So you guys can kind of see why when I put in my when I did my debulking, I removed all that hair so that I could see what I'm doing. And now we're in good shape to just go ahead and knock it all the way off and try to match my line on both sides. Notice how I jumped to this right side. That's another thing I do a lot, and I hope that you guys take this one from me because I want to be able to look in the front of the mirror and be able to make sure that he's got the same height on both sides. And if he doesn't, I want to make sure that I get him there. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just you need to make sure that you're making the right moves. So now I'm just gonna line this up in the back the rest of the way, make sure my line is nice and straight across. Doesn't have to be perfect. Again, you're gonna blend this all out. A lot of you guys are gonna ask, why did you drop down so low in the back? I dropped down in the back low because we have more room to work with this underneath this colic. He's got a pretty good occipital bone situation. So I figured if we got more room, let's use it. So that gives me this much more room to do the blend. So I just dropped it down a little bit, not a lot. And I like the way my line looks all the way around. I'm checking them in the mirror now. If I see anything that I need to change, I will. But you need to make sure that you're happy with each step and that everything is done thoroughly. So I'm now gonna use my mirror, and I can see that my left side is a little lower. So I'm just gonna bring that up. And it was just a tiny bit, it was just in the front. Now I'm real happy with it. The line looks good all the way around. And I just wanna, while I got my trimmers out, I wanna make sure that I've gotten all them long hairs in and around his ear before I pick up the Prodigy and I take them down, you know, all the way to skin. So we're gonna knock this all the way down to skin with the electric shaver. Now, whatever electric shaver you have, we're gonna follow the same rules. Something a lot of barbers don't do too is clean their clients off so you could tell if hair is connected or if it's not connected, and make sure. So I'm rocking with the red top, but this is the Prodigy, and I'm gonna begin at the bottom, and I'm just gonna let the electric shaver do the work. So once I get close to this top, I'm gonna start coming down with the grain a little bit, but at the bottom you can come up and directly against the grain, and you can remove all that hair. We're gonna make the blend pop by doing this. And the cool thing about doing this in this step, which for those of you guys who are following my actual barber school that I host every Saturday, this is still considered phase 1. So phase 1 is simply debulking, and we're gonna start flicking away when we get close to that line. And this is basically what you wanna see. You wanna see a nice, smooth transition. You wanna see a nice, smooth transition between the skin. So yeah, this is basically what you wanna see, a nice, smooth transition between the skin to that trimmer, and that 5-0 line. Now, I've always worked with the Braun Series 9. Ever since I've gotten it, I feel like that's the best electric shaver that I ever used. I've been using this one a lot, and I gotta admit, it gets a lot closer than the 9 does, and it is also very smooth as well. So I'm actually kind of enjoying how maneuverable it is around the ear too. Like, it's just so much easier with a smaller head. Now, that was, you know, my main complaint about it, but for the most part, this foil shaver can definitely run with the best of them. If you like foil shavers, if you like the Braun Series 9 a lot, you might want to stick with it. I mean, but if you're a big fan of getting it really, really close, you like the maneuverability, then yeah, one of these style of shavers definitely might suit you a little better. So as I get up in the back, he's got a lot more hair. I'm gonna try to come down with the grain a little bit with it. When I get close to that line, I'm just kind of tapping it, peppering it, using just the corners. Whatever you have to do to soften that up. And it's possible you might have to return to the trimmers, which is cool, and I will if I need to. The first time I did this tutorial, I did it with the fast feeds, and it's literally been almost that long since we've done it again. So I'm just going to retrace my step here with the absolute hitters in the back, because I could see that there was a couple hairs that I didn't take it all the way up to the line, and I maybe didn't do a nice enough job, but now I got it perfect. I like exactly what I see. That's exactly what I want to see. And if you see any imperfections, this is me stepping back a step. And if you see any imperfections, step back a step, be thorough, and you won't have so much cleanup work to do at the end. So now that I know that basically all my prep work is done, I could actually begin the blend. Now, just to recap, we did a 4 on top. I also used a 2 on the sides. So that means that I could actually use a 3, and I could just sort of complete this part of the blend. And if you guys are following my hair school, it's something that I like to do. So I'll just complete this part of the blend before I go and attack that. So I'm gonna begin with the 3 open, and we're just gonna go up till you hear it make noise, till you hear it cut. Once you hear it cut, make sure you change directions, keep it flat on the head, and we're gonna pop it down about halfway, and we'll flip this lever all the way down now. Now I know that my blend up here is good because I know that a 3 open blends into a 4 seamlessly. Same thing on this side, opening it up. 3 open blends perfectly into a 4, and then I'll begin closing it little by little until I've gotten it closed all of the way. So I feel better just looking at the cut, knowing that, you know, that top portion is done, and now all I really got to worry about is connecting that nice smooth skin to that area. So I really just got to get skin to about that number 2, and I got to get that done perfect, which can be tricky. In the front, he's got a couple colics going a couple different ways. So one of the ways that I'll handle that sometimes is I'll use something a little bit lower, like my 3 open, and I'll just travel through his bangs a little bit and try to get some of those long hairs sticking out. We'll go back and we'll edge him up a little bit, but with the way his colic is, we don't want to go too crazy with it because, you know, you're not going to make it look absolutely perfect anyways. You probably just make it look worse if you bite into it too far. So I just want to kind of tiptoe around this thing and make sure that I got it laying and looking good when I look in the mirror. Now it doesn't look so, you know, kind of crazy. And that means that sometimes you might have to go with the grain. Sometimes you might have to go against the grain a little bit. But whatever you got to do to get that shorter, you do it. So. All right. So now the blend. All right. So normally, phase 3 would be the shears, being that we're not using shears. We've already addressed the top. We're going to head on to phase 4, the blend. And the way I'm going to begin this blend, I'm going to attack with the half guard in the open position, but not actually open. I'm actually going to go 1 click. I'm going to go half guard, 1 click, and I'm going to make another guide about the width. And then because these ergos, I don't know, they're just super easy to kind of blend up with, I'm going to kind of tap this line in very lightly, maintaining the same width that I was telling you about, 1 finger. And I'm going to travel this around the whole head too. Now what this does, being that I'm putting in this very lightly, is it's helping me begin my blend into my subsequent section. So back here we got a little bit more room. I can make my guide a little bit wider. Bring that up a tiny bit more. And I'll jump over to this side and start over here at the temple again, because it's hard to maintain consistency when you travel all the way around the head in one direction. So I like to kind of jump and begin on the left side again. Now I can tell just from experience, I can tell that this left side is going to cause me a little bit more trouble to get the blend to come out perfect, just because he's got less hair on this left side of his head. So, you know, there's not really a whole lot you can do with that information. It's just, I know that this is going to be the side that I'm going to work a little harder at, just based on how it's coming off. So let's go back over to this side here. I like what I see, and that means that I can attack that bottom line. All right, so to attack this bottom line, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this vapor blade, that's what I'm calling it. It's actually called the Fusion, but I'm going to put this blade in the open position. You hear it cut, that's all you want. You go up till you hear it cut. Once I hear it cut, now I'm going to click it down 1, just 1. Now look how cool that was. Like the fact that I literally set myself up perfect, look how fast this line's starting to disappear. And I only did 2 clicks I practically have this thing still almost wide open. Now I'm about halfway closed, and the only thing I'm trying to concentrate on right now, keeping it flat, using only just the corner, and making sure I go up so I hear a little bit of noise. And once I hear that noise, I'm good. I'm gonna click it down again, and I'm gonna do the same thing. You guys could see how easy it was to get out that harsh line. A lot of you guys are afraid to put in that harsh line, and I think a lot of you guys don't want to put in the line because you have a lot of trouble getting it out. Maybe you don't have your tools set up, you know, the best or whatever. But now once I've gotten it out, I'm actually going to open it up all the way, and I'm just going to go back over it and make sure everything is smooth. Because I can kind of see with my eyes exactly where those dark spots are going to be, usually right around the ear, and that's good. The last step, I'm actually going to click it all the way down, and I'm just going to travel over where I put that initial line in, just gently and just carefully. And I really, really like what I see there. That looks perfect. So I'm going to jump all the way over to this other side. And like I said, this is going to be the side that's going to give me a little more trouble. So just want to go up just underneath my guide. Just underneath my guide. Click it once. And when I click it once, I'm trying to stay about this close to the top of my line now. Right? I'm going to click it again. I'm actually going to only allow myself to go up about this high now. Keeping it on an angle, using the corners, especially on this side, because if I can pull this off perfect without too much issues, I'm going to struggle a lot less. I'm not going to have that much cleanup to do, nothing. It's just going to make life so much easier if I do this. And don't rush. Like, a lot of barbers will be really close to pulling off a nice result, and they'll get impatient and they'll flick into that upper length, and boom, you'll create another issue. And then you're going to be there for like another half hour trying to remove it. So you don't want that to happen. Just when you start to get close, it's easy to rush. So try not to rush. So there we go. And I haven't even closed it all the way. Now I'm on my last click. And this is kind of what I was talking about. On that other side, the line was almost gone before I even got close to this click. And I had to get all the way down to this click to even remove, you know, that line and make it look as smooth as it was on the other side. So now that I got it all the way down, I'm just going over where I put in the line. It would be a mistake for me to try to take this into this length and remove this. So I'm just going to open this up, and I'm going to go up there, and I'm going to sort of retrace my steps. I call this trapping, where, like, I know right now that the blend is trapped between that half guard and my open taper. So I know that I shouldn't be working up here. I know exactly where I need to be, and that's it. So I'm not in love with this little bit of area here, which tells me I'll just return to my trimmer real quick, just using the corner. And I'm just going to go over that area. Remember, I put that line in with this trimmer upside down. That's a harsh line, and you know, there's going to be times where it's going to be a little harder to remove. So we're set. That looks good. And as a finishing polish step, I can come down with the grain a little bit. And that's me stepping back 2 steps just because I needed to. Now the back, we're gonna knock this out real quick. Same steps in the open position. My light has got me doing a lot. It's helping me a lot here. I have a light on my station that is really making this possible, because even though this light is pretty good in this room, having a light that you could focus directly on what you're working on is just essential. I leave a link in the description for my favorite light all the time. And honestly, if you're working in an area that's dimly lit, there's no chance that you're going to be able to produce consistent blends all the time without, you know, being able to even see what you're working on. So, you know, do what you need to do. Invest in yourself. Get yourself a light so that you could at least have a better, you know, cut on a regular and just more consistent. All right, so now I'm clicking it down one more. Just crisscross pattern. Just trying my best to feed that hair into the clipper properly. And I'm telling you guys, I like what I'm seeing. I like how the blend is coming out. I'm not struggling in any way to remove any of these lines, which is great. And now I'm down to the very last click. The best part is, a lot of times with the ergos, I don't even need to go all the way to the bottom because it just tends to blend out because the way the blade is, it just cuts close. And we're gonna take care of the very next step. So the next step is gonna be do the one open. Now the coolest part about this is gonna help almost complete the blend. So I'm just gonna do the one open, basically like I'm putting in another guideline. I'm not trying to do too much with it. I wanna make sure it cuts though. So I'm putting in that other guideline basically. Holding it close to the head, going flat, back and forth, crisscrossing. This step might seem easier than your other steps, but in a way, this step can also doom you if you go too high, because then you lost the darkness in the parietal ridge and you'll lose the beauty of that blend. You'll lose that contrast. That darkness is what creates that contrast. So with that in the open position, before I even go and close it and try to remove that, I'm actually gonna just complete the top part of the blend and jump to my 1 1/2. And I'm just gonna open it, let it cut a little bit, and I'm gonna close it. This is just something quick you can do to just make sure it's connected to the top the way you want it. So I just jumped real quick to the 1 1/2. Begin with it open, let it cut a little bit, and then close it. Now this is cool because you basically trap the fade between the one open and the 1 1/2 close. So you know exactly where you're at. Everything's smooth, everything makes sense. And now I could just put the one back on there. We're gonna close that up and see what effect that has on the line. So I'm gonna begin by closing it just a little bit at a time like I did before. All right, not really cutting anything with one click. We're gonna go 2 clicks. All right, 2 clicks is giving me some action, so we hear it cut. We're gonna let it eat. We're gonna take that hair down. Another click. And the blend should come out almost perfect, but not quite, because we still got that last step. That's gonna be that half guard. That's gonna be that make or break. So I was just sort of setting myself up to use that the entire time. I've been sort of preparing myself for that step, because if I grab my half guard too soon, it's just so easy to go in there and make a mistake that I don't wanna risk that. That's why we go through all these steps, all this trouble, so that your last steps are super easy to perform. So, the last little bit here. Let's put it open, closing it. Just using them corners, touching them gentle. And some parts of this blend will appear to have come out like almost entirely without the half guard, and then other parts of the blend, like where it's thick, they're gonna definitely need some half guard help. So we're gonna go in here for this last step, and we're gonna knock it out with the half guard. We're almost there, guys. We're gonna do that, little edge up, blend his beard in, and we're set. So we see where we have a little bit of a blend that needs to be helped. So I got it all the way open, and I'm gonna actually just go up till I let it cut a little bit. Let it cut a little bit. Click it down. Let it cut a little bit, and then click it down. Now that blend's looking good. That blend's looking good. All right, we'll jump over to this side and perform the same steps. All right, almost perfect. And this is the side you want to tiptoe around, and this is the time you want to do your tiptoeing, because the last thing you want is to have an issue now when you're so close to having such a nice looking blend and everything's falling into place for you. And you know, you don't need to have an issue at this stage in the game. So I'll begin with it open in the back, and we're gonna finish this. We're gonna connect all the work we did together in this step. I'm pushing kind of hard on the scalp because I wanna make sure that I'm getting some hair cut out of that and knocking it down, and we're in pretty good shape. Knock it down one more click. Actually went two. And I'm putting most of my pressure on the corner. When I push down on this, I'm putting most of my pressure on the corner. Good. All right. That's pretty nice. Now it's time for just a little bit of cleanup work. All right. I got the one, and I'm just gonna put it open, and I'm gonna put it closed a little bit. Now, I might break a handful of my own rules, just to make sure that I got the blend the way I want it, and I'm just using the corners and just kind of lightly tapping and touching, and just sort of being careful. That's all you gotta do, because you got real good blend going here. Everything's looking the way it should be. We do not need to make a mistake, especially not in the cleanup phase. Definitely not worth the price of admission. To mess it up at this stage in the game sucks, because you know this is trench work. We're down here. We're not celebrity barbers. We're just getting these haircuts in and out in 20 minutes and doing the best jobs that we can do within the amount of time that we have. I mean, really, to do perfect work, it takes some time. I mean, it's not, you can't do everything in a short amount of time. So these are the type of haircuts that you could mess with for quite a long time until you're satisfied with it. It takes a long time to master them, and you know, it's just practice, and every day, you know, keep getting a little bit better, and keep growing your skills, and kind of know the do's and don'ts, and be careful and not make a mistake. But that's what I call this, a practice. We are always learning every day. We're getting better, and every day you try it again, you get a little bit better. Don't get down on yourself if you're struggling with these haircuts right now. So, all right. Now for the often overlooked details. All right, first one, I'm just gonna miss the top of his head. I'm gonna comb it back and against the grain. Also, wouldn't mind getting the sides a little wet, because we're gonna do some shear over comb and stuff. So I got the top though, that's what I wanna do first. So the top, I've misted it and combed it back. And if you look close, it's gonna be hard to see, but there's always little hairs that stick up. Always, no matter what clipper you're using. So what I do is I mist it, get it wet at this point, and it makes them all stand up. And then I can clear out all the rest of the little ones that you may have missed and knock them right off. Perfect. That's what I want to see. All right, next little step. I'm gonna grab my my texturizing shears from Shear Police. And again, if you guys use Shear Police, you guys can use code Eddie. It'll give you 10% off. And we're going to just complete this blend. This is really helpful because texturizing shears, what they do is they remove bulk without affecting length. And they allow you to go in there and just get those details absolutely perfect. So I'm just gonna go through, I'm looking for any dark spots. I'm looking for any hair that's you know, a little thicker or higher density than the rest of his hair. And I'm gonna go around with this, and I'm gonna make it more uniform in those areas. That's the idea here, is to try to even out the density to make it so that it all blends in smooth. So that's good, that's good. I'm just looking around for dark spots and I'm hitting them. Another technique I use a lot that I don't really feel like I need to use in this one, but I use a lot of like freehand work where I'll just go in and just like, if I see dark spots, just kind of go in freehand and hit them. So, all right, just a couple things left. We're not gonna put enhancements in his hair. I'm just gonna tap his edge a little bit. I'm not gonna give him like a full-blown edge up here like I would with some people. All right, I'll show you guys how to blend that beard in. I'll just take this open and I'll go down with the grain just a little bit, moving my clipper out. And this is just one of the techniques. There's a lot of ways you could do this. Now I got it open and I've given myself basically the width of a finger. I'll begin closing it and I'll stay a little bit higher. I'll close it, stay a little bit higher, close it till I got it all the way closed, and then I'm just gonna flick at the very tip top. So super easy and fast way to blend in your beard. And if you want, you can go your next step down. You can go to like a 1 or something like that, and you can repeat the same process. But we're not doing his beard. I just didn't want it to look like a mule kicked me. When I look at like that line just takes away, you know, it takes away from all the good I did. So I want to blend that out and make that look nice. And that's one thing I could tell you guys in your pictures. A lot of you guys will take the picture because maybe your client's not getting a beard or something like that. But a lot of you guys will take the picture with the beard like that. You can't do that. It's worth it for me just to at least blend in this top portion so that when I take the picture it looks good. Especially if I put all the work I put into the cut. I don't want to shortcut it right at the end and just say, oh, I forgot to do that or whatever, you know. His hair started to dry a little bit. I can kind of see, you know, a handful of little spots I want to tap out. I only hope that this microphone is not picking up some of the conversation that's going on out front, because it's not the greatest. I see a little area here that I can make a little better, so I'll just do that real quick, and then the internet won't hate me. You messed that haircut up, son. They'll be like, we won't come to your house, take you away. Like, man, that seems drastic, just for a haircut on somebody you don't even know. All right, last few steps here. I'm just happening a little line with the razor, make them looking good. And I'm really happy with the way his blend came out. I think it looks pretty dope. I'll come in. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm using this razor, but after running the Prodigy, there's like no hair at the bottom. It's entirely gone. So. On this side, I like to stand behind him and just draw the blade towards me. And like I said, I don't have time to do his beard, but I wanted to make it look half nice when I go in there. My next customer is already waiting, so. And for those of you guys who stuck around, For those of you guys who stuck around, I can't thank you enough for supporting my channel. This is the same person that I did a couple years ago that we got like 500,000 views. I don't know if this video can do as good, but if you guys can click the thumbs up and share it to whoever you think it could help, I'd be really, really grateful. This is the YouTube Barber Academy. I'm Mr. Eddie Barber, and I'll see you guys in my next tutorial. Peace.